Assessment and evaluation are not the same thing. Evaluation is the process of making judgments to assign value or worth, like a grade. Assessment is the full range of information gathered by teachers about students and their classrooms. There are two major types of assessment. The first one is formative or informal assessment, and this is collected during instruction to help teachers determine prior knowledge, to monitor learning, and provide corrective feedback. The other type of assessment is formal or summative assessment. The goal of this type of assessment is to evaluate how students performed against a standard or an objective. The book defines three purposes of assessment. The first one is assessing for learning. This more or less is formative assessment. The second type is assessing as learning. During this type of assessment, students gain information about their own learning. In the last type of assessment, which is assessment of learning, this is more or less summative or formal assessment. Ideally, assessments will give us good information about students, but this information is only going to be good if it is reliable, valid, and fair. An assessment is reliable if results can be duplicated when it is given again. An assessment is valid if the test measures what it is supposed to. An assessment is fair if all students have an equal chance of succeeding and the test does not discriminate against any group of people. There are many types of alternative tests. Among those are performance tests. This is where a student is required to demonstrate a skill, and they are assessed on that. An authentic assessment is similar to a performance assessment, except that it takes place in some sort of authentic environment like an art show or a science fair. Portfolios demonstrate student mastery of standards. A portfolio might contain tests, projects, or other work evaluated for a class. In regards to evaluation, there are two main ways of assigning grades. The first one is grading against the curve. This compares students' performances versus the performances of other students. The second is grading to a criterion. This simply decides whether a student has reached a certain level of mastery or has reached a certain standard. When constructing a grading structure, it is important to do a few things. First, be clear about the learning outcomes that will be evaluated. Grade academic and non-academic criteria separately. Avoid giving zeros, and only use grades for homework if it is meant to represent the sum of the learning process.